Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. In the city of Costa Mesa, they got a team together to look at where the city really stands in terms of its unfunded pension liabilities. And with us now is the mayor of Costa Mesa, Jim Righeimer. Thank you very much for being here.
Good to be here, Leslie.
So glad you're here. So who was the group of people and what do they find?
Well, it's interesting. The issues with pension is so complicated. We really put together a committee. And the committee, I think, had 2 attorneys, 4 accountants, a lot of smart business people. It's headed up by Jeff Arthur, who is actually a CalPERS retiree. So we had a lot of different people look at the issue to really drill down. They put together an almost 50-page report about Costa Mesa, but could be translated to any city out there of what the liabilities and the issues really are, what you can really do to fix it, which isn't a lot. The state has to fix this problem, clearly. And it was amazing. The numbers were pretty clear. Our city had a liability for pensions 10 years ago of $200 million. We now have a liability of $600 million. Now,
that's a very short period of time.
In 10 years. And so, we've been raising money to pay that. We used to be about $9 million under. And now we have about $400 million towards that $600 million, so we're $200 million. It's complicated numbers. The concept is it took off amazingly fast, and it's unsustainable.
And the way to keep it from getting worse are small things on the city that amount to big things as far as like paying off some of that debt earlier, but then that cuts into your general fund.
Well, what happens is CalPERS has basically come back now, that's our pension fund, has come back and said, you were paying minimum on the credit card, and we're just going to start charging you to get to a semblance of you paying it. The problem is that right now we're at 20% of our budget. They're saying we're going to go to 30% of our budget in 5 years. So what that causes is what's called service insolvency, which is you just don't do things. All of a sudden you're not paving the streets, you're not fixing the curbs, you're not taking care of the flood control, the parks, whatever other issues you have. It just doesn't get done. It doesn't happen. And so what'll happen is at a certain point some cities will be so far under that they deteriorate. Our cities, and most of the cities in Orange County, we have a lot of money. We just do. We may spend it improperly, but we've got money. So there'll be other cities in the state that will file BK before we do. And in that process, we'll probably get the state to finally solve the problem.
When you say before we do, how far down the line are you talking about here?
You're probably 5-6 years at the most. You're going to have maybe another half dozen cities file BK. I mean, you can't go to, even in Orange County, Placenta's up to 70% of their budget for police. I mean, you can't do that.
But are there any solutions that you see are viable right now that will prevent you from going there?
Right.
Because you say it has to go to the state level to make any difference, and even then you have so many employees in the pipeline who are retiring and so much unfunded liability.
Right, so here's the issue. The issue is that the plan that everybody went to 10, 12 years ago is unsustainable. What we need to have happen is existing employees who work right now today, not future employees, existing employees right now today, to go back to the old pension plan going forward, meaning the new pension plan they have, the higher one, whatever they've earned. But going forward, that has to change. That's the only way this $600 million liability can be brought down.
And you're still meeting resistance from the workers who say it's not fair. California raised taxes retroactively, Prop 30, so what about retroactive changes to pension benefits?
Well, that's the problem. It was a retroactive benefit to pension. They went ahead and said whatever plan you had, we're just going to rewind it back and say if you've been there 20 years, whatever this new plan is, you get credit for 20 years worth of it. It made no sense. So what we have to do basically is work with the state. The state has to work with PERS, but that's not going to happen until there's political will from the state to solve a problem.
Okay, it's a big job.
Yep.
Jim Righeimer, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for joining us. I'm Leslie Leyton.